And now we would like to welcome Mr. S. Seetharaman, Chairman of Super Auto Forge Private Limited. He has been a patron for Auetaa for a very long time. He and his son, Mr. Ravi Shankar, also an ITIN, have been sponsoring employability skill enhancement training program for final year anomaly engineering students. We are thankful to you and your son for the extended support, sir. Thanks a lot.
Distinguished guests, fellow ITINs, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. It's indeed a privilege and pleasure to be here with you this morning to share my thoughts on how the Indian industry is moving around. Yeah, I made a small change in the topic. They said engineering industry, I just made into an SME industry because the dynamics and opportunities or challenges for major industries and SMEs are quite different. They are not always the same, even though they run almost similar. Of course, when I say medium, I don't take that, the governmental yardstick. Medium industry globally is any company, up to 3,000-4,000 crores turnover or a 500 crore investment. They are medium companies world over. So I mean up to that are medium companies. Larger ones are the ones that are pretty big. As the slide I have shown, I belong to the 1967 batch of mechanical engineers. My guru, Dr. Shadik, is here before me. Thank you, sir. So I'm in the Indies. I passed out 67. Then I was in employment for a few years with Larsen & Toubro and companies. Then started my industry in 1970, a small machine shop, and then in 74 I went into metal forming, cold forging. Probably the first company in India to have started cold forging as a technique. Why I chose SMEs? Primarily because world over, SMEs really are the backbone of countries' industries. Yeah, large industries do matter, but in terms of employment or in terms of importing skills, larger industries do draw people from the SMEs to run their companies. Therefore, the skill sets are developed with the SMEs, and SMEs generate the highest quantum of GDP. And India and world over, SMEs are the largest export earners, and most of the innovations spring up only from SMEs. Yeah, how do SMEs form? Then the question. SMEs are they are formed by people out of the whole population. There are people who have an urge to be employees rather than employed, and they come out and start setting up industries. And the qualities as said for industries, you must be an extrovert, you must be willing to work hard with passion. Perseverance should be the biggest hallmark for anybody, because success is not going to be on the doorstep the day one, 5-6 years. And we are going to be probably the third largest economy after USA and China, or China and USA, whichever way it is. In terms of motor vehicles, light vehicles, this year we hope to clock around 3.9 million vehicles, and probably will be the 5th or 6th largest car manufacturer in the world. Again, in the case of motor cars, we export almost 600,000 cars a year to countries in Asia and Europe too. Again, GST. It has now, each state had some tax rates, and there is a lot of check posts, movements, and whatnot. So GST has virtually made, I would say, GST more than a tax reform. It's a national integration event, I would say. This made the whole country commercially one area. Otherwise each state had its own policy, its own tax system. So GST is going to make a lot of advantage over a time, even though there are a lot of confusions in the short term, which has to be understood. See, GST today is the largest single program anywhere envisaged in the world. The amount of people that logging in, amount of data pouring in, it's a mammoth exercise that the government has undertaken, and the Indian industry is putting over it. And it's easy to fault, quickly this, that, but one has to have little bit of patience for things to settle down. Same thing with demonetization. They say India, unfortunately, was having a parallel economy. 30 to 40% of trade has been happening with people with money and not coming into the system at all. They neither followed any rules, they never paid any taxes. And as a country merging into a global economy, we can't continue to have those kind of companies also running. Though hurting them with policies, they want, yes, it hurt the industry. Whom? It hurt those kind of industries who are always dealing with cash, who are always doing without taxes. So it's a short-term pain, no doubt. It's a short-term pain. Yes, if somebody is asking that's going to remove them fully, it's not going to, but at least big portion of them will learn a lesson on this. They will come back to the mainstream to do things through law and through proper things. And the large number of qualified engineers coming out every year, both degree holders, diploma, again a plus point, but later on I'll come to probably say how it is also proving to be a little bit of, much of a negative points too, probably later on come to that. And this point is very important, the aspiration levels of average Indian. This is a tremendous single point which is going to give a very big boost to every Indian businessman. See, the Indian consumer is no longer, one who goes for what is cheaper product. That's gone. People go only for the costlier, better thing. They question 100 times. In fact, Alto is not selling. Maruti had to, the lowest, cheapest car was Omni. It was only 1,90,000 or so. There are no takers for that. Altos, there is no takers. People go for cars that are superior. You know, Bullet, Royal Enfield. Till about 15 years back, they were not able to make 1,600 and sell. Today they are pricing around 2.3 lakhs or so, and they are not able to make. They make 62,000 motorcycles a month, and there is a backlog still. So the Indian consumer, he now wants the best of things and wants to go for quality product. He is willing to pay that price. He is no longer shy of paying that extra quantum of money to get the better of products, which is good for those who are going to make the better of things. While I say there is opportunity is very huge, again you got to understand India has a huge population too, and a huge aspiring population, capable population. So for any industry, any opportunity to make money, there are enough people who want to get into the race, who want to take their bit of fight onto the business. Similarly, with the advent of internet and with the advent of complete opening of the world, globe as a one village they call it, you have enough global players coming in to challenge you in your own turf too. Therefore, that's one thing that where you got to, how do you fight that and still be above the competition or be still competitive is probably one challenge. Yeah, now I want to come to a little about my company, not because I want to tell what I do, this thing. I'm getting back to the next, after this I want to tell what somebody need to do to be successful in export market. That's why I'm giving a small idea. We are Super Auto Forge. We are primarily into automobile components as the components and sub-assemblies as our main existence. We do venture into some amount of non-automotive components too. Yeah. So this is our last growth over years. We are looking at around 800 crores in 1920, for which we have a full set of orders and everything with the customers. So, as you see, the red portion is export. You may ask why should we only export? Is not the domestic market too, which I just now explained. That depends on type of industry. The type of industry I am in, where mass production, where scale is very important. Those things are available in overseas countries where, you go to, for a F-150, if you say one truck of Ford, popular truck, they make almost 2 million trucks a year. So you win an order, you have 2 million parts on that. So globally there is an advantage of one large quantity mass production quantum. I want to stress to a lot of people who are interested here, India has a huge advantage in terms of piercing the global market, because the earlier reasons I said, main reasons. Number two, the developed countries particularly, you can't again go to a competing country and you do a lot of business. But if you want to go and do business in USA or Europe, you have a big advantage of labor arbitrage. Where the country where for a German labor is paid 40, 43 euro an hour. An American labor in the industry, organized industry, getting about $20-25 an hour. Whereas India, probably an average labor gets 15,000 rupees a month. So you have almost an arbitrage of 20-25 times in a wage arbitrage. Therefore, where there is a component, particularly you take some critical assemblies or critical component, some components like what Seetharaman does, where there are about 15 operations, they get killed. They are nowhere. There is no chance that any of them can make it even at 3 times our price, because their labor is so costly. So there is a huge opportunity for Indian industries who are willing to take over those, companies like us that took advantage of those things early age. As I said, that's the best fit for the Make in India manufacturing team that the Prime Minister is trying to evolve. Again, overseas, they find it difficult to get blue-collar labor, particularly industries like we are in, forging or casting. Workers don't want to come there because they don't want to soil their hand at the end of the day. Therefore, that again throws a lot of opportunity here. Again, environmental management, I don't mean to say that we can be lax in our environmental management here. The environmental management here also quite tough, but it is extremely tough there. Therefore, people want to get away from businesses which throw smoke out or which can capable of spoiling the water. They want to get out of those businesses, not to be sued tomorrow. And the advantage, again, the high-speed communication company already said today, to do business with a global customer is better than my doing business with my Delhi customer. Your video conferencing and your ability to talk to them over so many media is so good that you are no longer you are a person sitting far away. You are almost like there to talk with them. And this point is a very important point. In spite of whatever I said about the capabilities of graduates or passing out, an average Indian youngster coming out, some reason they are very adept at the computer technologies. You give a mobile to a small young fellow coming out, he will do wonders with the mobile. They have that, somehow developed that intuitive skills on computing and managing CNC machines. They learn like this. They come and they probably third day they can work on a CNC machines or a program. So that's a big advantage we have over most other countries. I travel very widely. This is a big advantage we have over even USA and Europe. They don't have that kind of youngsters who can meddle with or feel very comfortable with CNC apparatus. So that way we have an advantage with the younger generation being adept to computer skills. The global production of automotive industry is about 52 million cars, not taking into account the 23 million that China makes. America makes around 18 million average, Europe makes around 12-13, and Korea, Japan, India, it's around 50 million. And it's for the asking. When people make right product, right way, I don't think there is any restriction or scope of people doing business, provided these do's and don'ts you strictly are able to follow. Don't try to get tempted to get inquiry, do everything you want. You as an individual, or I as an individual, anybody as an individual has only skill on certain things, has ability on certain range of things, or passion for certain things. So you must only try to be in a field where you are sure that you will excel. Your inner heart always tells where your skill lies. Therefore, you choose a product or a group of products where your skill lies. And again, because I said just now, export is not the right answer. For every industry, there is a global market. Anything that is exported, there is a global market. And fortunately for us today, the global industry is as tight or quality conscious, as upgraded as an overseas customer. There is very little difference here. Probably Shanmugh Sundaram can tell me your Nissan made in here is as good as a Nissan made in Japan. It is no longer true that we have a differential yardstick. It is no longer. Therefore, if you service for some years to the domestic company, prune yourself, tone yourself, then you venture, you are 100% success there. And then, this is mistakes many people do. You want to get into export, you must create additional capacity. You can't have a global capacity and try to squeeze a little bit into that on to export. If you want to go export, you must fully make yourself sure that that's the line you want to take along with domestic. Then you must create capacities for that. Go with it. That capacity may lay idle for some time. That cost is nothing. Once you are going to eventually succeed, that cost will be paid off by itself. So create additional capacity if you want to go into that field. Yes, you have to make quite a bit of cold calls. Thanks to a lot of knowledge about India today, the current generation is a big advantage over a generation of ours. In the 80s, nobody bothered about India globally. Even there are some American customers, India what? Is it a thing or it's a country? Even that kind of knowledge of India. But today, it's different. Thanks to the impression created by our IT industry world over, people think Indians are clever, Indians are good managers. You know, you got a sort of, as a country, you have a stamp as a country of capable people. Therefore, these cold calls, what I said, applied to us earlier. Even now, it may apply. You need to have patience. The moment you select something as your choice of business, knock the doors. Definitely, there is a time, you know, he wants to consider, because he is not going to open the door just for nothing, not for your love of you. He is gaining. And if he is buying a product within Europe or within America and he wants to switch over to you, he gets 15% savings. Therefore, the customer will definitely look at you, but you have to have the patience. Yeah, the first few opportunities, you know, when you get a break in, that becomes very important. That's where again, in our over-enthusiasm or in our eagerness to please the customer, we go with a almost product. Sorry, that is your end of your day. In developed countries, when you go, there is nothing called I am very near. India, yes, we always, you know, we are very tolerant society. Appa kittathil nalla pannitamba innu konja da baaki. Sorry, it's not there anywhere in the world. People want what they want. Therefore, take a little time, do your home study well, and go right on first time with a good product. And again, this is again a trait that we have to change as Indians, particularly as Tamilians, that we try to immediately think we know things. You know, we see that drawing over, and I know I can make it, I know. That never works. You got to really apply or go through every small print there, you know, every notes, every small designation on that. Understand what the customer wants, what's his application, and then try to, again, packaging. You may call, why is he talking about packaging? I want to tell you that as important as your product. They want it in certain level of package, certain type of, because they want to move it to so many of their production lines. They want it in a certain way. And you got to jolly well understand that and go as per what they want. Yeah, again, once you are successful, you are landed with a purchase order. Again, you know, over happiness, yes, I got the order, don't just sit relax. Go through the purchase order may contain some harmless terms. You got to really understand them and go back to the customer. Sorry, this is something that I can't really meet or understand. Very important. You can't, you know, particularly with doing business with USA, you are signed on a dot, you are signed on a dot. You know, there's no question of emotions or things, you know, that you are contracted. Therefore, you got to be very careful on that. I want to conclude that era of globalized competition, firms that are able to adapt very quickly, because things are changing so fast. What you make today, the next week, somebody says something better has come, change over. Therefore, the continuous improvement, upgradation, you got to keep moving. No, there is nothing like, I done something, I lean back, I relax. There is never going to be something like that. You are going to be challenged all the time, and one must be willing to take that. Thank you, and I wish. So finally, I wish every potential and existing businessman here a very, very successful years ahead, and I want as many IITs in the top of the globe as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot.